Good afternoon, everyone. I will shortly be joined by Cheryl Brew from Ramsey Bakery to talk about some of the challenges that our island's food and agricultural sector are rising to at this difficult time. However, I would first like to give you the latest test figures. Since the last update yesterday at 4 p.m, there have been no further confirmed positive tests for coronavirus, taking the overall total confirmed cases in the Isle of Man to 190. 178 patients have been instructed to self-isolate and 11 are being treated at Nobles Hospital. There have been 1,753 conducted tests and 134 people are awaiting results. The number of individuals who are presumed recovered from the virus is 100. To everyone in Nobles Hospital or recovering at home, I wish you a speedy recovery. The COVID-19 pandemic is continuing to have a significant impact on all our lives. This situation is not standing still, and neither are we. As government, as a public service, we are doing everything within our power to keep people safe, but we also need your help. As we enter the Easter holidays, I want to stress the importance of social distancing and remaining vigilant at all times. The weather may be improving, but this deadly virus is continuing to spread. We must not let our guard down. Please save lives. Stay at home. As Minister for Environment, Food and Agriculture, I always take the opportunity to champion the island's biosphere status. We are rightly famous for our beautiful countryside, stunning coastline and the diversity and quality of our food industry. And there has certainly never been a better time to buy local and support our island farmers, fishermen and producers. Easter is traditionally a time to indulge our taste buds and sample the very best seafood, lamb and hot cross buns that the island has to offer. I will shortly invite Cheryl from Ramsey Bakery to highlight the important work taking place to keep our nation supplied with outstanding homegrown food. First, in respect of another vital part of my department's remit, I must emphasise the need to enjoy our outdoor spaces responsibly. Our island boasts spectacular glens, plantations, rolling hills and magnificent beaches. We are very fortunate to live in such a beautiful place, but the message at this time is crystal clear. Only leave your home for essential travel. If you do go out to exercise, stay local and remember to stay at least 2 meters away from other people at all times. Do not gather in groups under any circumstances. This week, DEFA officers have reported full car parks at Conrenny, South Barul and our Chaligan plantations. This is a concern, as an influx of people will make social distancing more difficult. We recognise the need to exercise, but please explore the areas closer to home. Do not jump in your car to travel to a beauty spot that is several miles away. Self-discipline will be key this Easter and in the weeks ahead. Any signs of complacency will aid the spread of COVID-19, overwhelm our health service and ultimately cost lives. Ask yourself the question, do I need to make this journey? If travel is not essential, then do the right thing and stay at home. Stay at home and treat yourself to a lovely meal. Many people enjoy fish on Friday, so why not take some time to search Facebook or Instagram and see the local skippers and processors advertising freshly caught fish, scallops, lobsters and crabs. Don't forget, a lot of these businesses will deliver to your doorstep. Another traditional favourite at Easter is the hot cross bun, and Cheryl is here with me today to explain how Ramsey Bakery is ensuring a plentiful supply reaches our supermarket shelves along with bread, cakes and pies. I cannot talk about hot cross buns without mentioning Laxey Glen Mills. The team have been working extra shifts to ensure enough flour is available for all our bakeries, supermarkets, etc. at this critical time. Manx lamb will also feature on many people's shopping lists this weekend, and after speaking to Isle of Man Meats, I know they have enough lamb available to satisfy demand. On a more general note, my department continues to work closely with the island's retailers, and I can assure people there is enough food for everyone. There is no need to panic buy or stockpile. Please think of others and only purchase what you need. Buy local, wherever possible, to support island businesses. It may take a little longer to do your food shopping at the moment, but it is important to note there is resilience in the supply chain. We are able to feed the nation now and into the future. I want to take this opportunity to personally thank all of those who are stepping up to support the island in these unprecedented times. To the farmers, the fishermen, the food producers and the retailers, you have my utmost gratitude. I would now like to hand over to Cheryl to provide an insight into the work that's taking place across the local food sector. Thank you. Cheryl.
Thank you, Geoffrey. Anyone who's spoken to me about the bakery business will know how passionate I am about what we do. We're committed to meeting the island's needs for the best quality, freshest bakery products year round. That's what we do, and now is no exception. We have the capability and infrastructure to make that happen, and I just wanted to provide reassurance that we're on the case and there's no need to be concerned about shortages over the coming weeks. We have an experienced and dedicated team, and everyone's really pulled together over the past few weeks to ensure that our products continue to be made to the highest quality standards and that they're delivered as fresh as possible. It has been difficult to anticipate production levels. We've seen tripling of orders some days and cutting right back on other days. It's difficult for our customers to gauge what will be needed on any one day, or indeed estimate how many customers they'll be able to serve with social distancing measures in place. Fortunately, we're able to offer our customers the flexibility to amend their orders up until mid-afternoon each day before we set about producing our goods fresh that evening. We have been affected by the closure of our Mr. B shops and by the closure of a number of our customers running sandwich shops and cafes. So we have a variety of challenges ourselves to face. We're sending our very best wishes to all customers affected and indeed to all businesses faced with the pressures that the current situation brings. We do, however, continue to offer virtually all items in our extensive bread and rolls range in order to offer as much choice as possible to our customers. We're baking the bread fresh every day, and it goes out to the stores as quickly as possible. We package the products in such a way as to give the best possible shelf life, and it freezes really well. So hopefully that helps people to minimise the number of shopping trips they make. Even I keep a loafer in the freezer for emergencies sometimes. With 3 teenagers in the house, we get through a lot of toast. So pop one in the freezer, one for using fresh, and that will help you with those trips to the supermarket. Our drivers are out early every morning, Monday to Saturday. They're delivering to all of the supermarkets, to garages, general stores, the hospital, nursing homes, and a variety of other organisations. So you should be able to get what you need. We're also pleased to be able to support volunteer groups, such as the Ramsey Rugby Club, who are doing an outstanding job delivering prescriptions, bread and milk to those needing help in the north of the island. We're here to help and serve our community. That's very much part of our DNA. If we can help any businesses or organisations during this time, please do get in touch with us. We're keeping a close eye on any stocks of ingredients or packaging that we bring into the island. We've planned ahead where we can, and we're in regular contact with suppliers. Of course, our main ingredient is our locally milled flour, and we have an excellent relationship with Laxey Glen Mills, who are doing a sterling job of keeping us topped up with regular supply. Like ourselves, they have an experienced team who are trained in a number of aspects of production, and they have a clear plan in place to ensure they continue to meet the customers' needs. Also, although production levels have been higher than usual, the local farmers have produced plenty of wheat from the past harvest to meet the demand for flour. So between us, we're very well placed to ensure no shortage of bread and flour for the foreseeable future. As a food production business, we have a well-established programme of hygiene management in the bakery. We have, however, performed a review of our processes and included additional measures where appropriate to mitigate the additional risks posed by the COVID-19 virus. I'd like to take the opportunity to thank all our team for their incredibly hard work, the care they put into what they do, and the pride and dedication to customer service. I'd like to thank all our local suppliers and the businesses that support us to keep up and running for their unfaltering service to us. And I'd like to thank all of our customers to whom we're always extremely grateful. Finally, it would be easy to forget that it is Easter weekend. With all the upheaval we've been going through, it feels a little bit unusual this year. We made the decision to carry on with the production of our delicious hot cross buns, and they've proved exceptionally popular this year. It's important to still enjoy treats where we can. Even if we can't go out egg rolling and picnicking in the usual way, we can still devour a toasted hot cross bun or maybe pop some into a bread and butter pudding. So I hope you'll enjoy those over the next couple of days while they're still available. Please stay safe and have a healthy and restful Easter weekend. Thank you.
Thank you, Cheryl. And I can assure you that I've already partaken of at least 8 hot cross buns, and they are delicious, as you rightly say. So now we come to the question section. First up is 3FM with Leanne. You're muted, Leanne. Can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can now. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Good afternoon, Minister. I hope you're well.
Thank you. Yes.
My first question is, a lot of people are asking why cemeteries across the island are closed, but parks and glens remain open. Could you provide any clarification on this decision?
I was not privy to that decision, and so I can't answer authoritatively, but I can say that glens and footpaths, etc., are there for a form of exercise, whereas I understand people would visit a cemetery to pay respects to their departed relatives and loved ones. So it is a different scenario, so that is probably the rationale behind it.
Okay, and my second question, although it's rare, we have seen some cases around the globe of animals catching coronavirus. Has DEFA got any contingencies in place should livestock on island catch the virus?
Well, the only case that I'm aware of has been some tigers in a zoo, if I recall, which led to some speculation that cats might be able to pick up the virus. At the moment, we have no evidence to show that this is the case for domestic cats on island. Fortunately, we don't have any tigers roaming in the Isle of Man. So it's something that would be under review if there is evidence that there is animal to human contagion, as it were. But at the moment, we are offering no advice on that except to continue as normal.
Okay, thank you.
Paul, MTTV.
Hello, Mr. Boot. This probably comes under public service information.
Sorry, Paul, you've broken up. We've lost you.
Hello?
Hello, Paul. We lost you.
Hello. Got me now?
Yes, yep, you're back again. Thank you.
Great, I'll stop again. This probably comes under public service information more than anything. A farmer's been in touch with me just a couple of days ago, really concerned about the amount of people going through his farms now, and he's got a lot of cows. I know we've touched on this in the past. People are parking differently, trying to think that they can just go through farm areas. And he's really concerned, and I didn't know this until I checked it out, how dangerous cows can actually be to the public. Your comments?
Yes, people should stick to the footpaths, and certainly at this time of year when cows have got calves, they can be quite dangerous animals, and I would recommend people to stick to the proper routes. We haven't said that people can go on farms, or we wouldn't encourage it really, we have already messaged and that at this time of year, particularly when people are out and about after the winter, cattle can be dangerous, so I would recommend people to stay away from them, definitely. And the farmers are rightly raising concerns if people are wandering over their land.
Secondly, also from a mailbag, is about the money given to fishermen, and the size of boat depends how much money they're getting. And this particular fisherman has got a smaller boat but has the same amount of crew on it, and he's getting less of a subsidy. Anything you can say to that gentleman?
Yeah, I can certainly. The scheme was evolved with the fishing industry, and it is not about the amount of crew they can claim in other schemes. This is about supporting the infrastructure of the industry, and we worked well with the Producers Association and also the processors to look at the standing costs of keeping boats particularly in the water and maintained and seaworthy. Smaller boats do cost less generally, and looking at the figures that we've been furnished with, and we did look at some figures in detail, they are undoubtedly cheaper. Obviously there has to be a cut-over point at some stage, but larger boats do cost more to maintain in the short and long term. So that was the rationale behind it. And I understand, I've had emails from people who are concerned, but the staffing is distinctly different from actually supporting the infrastructure of the boat itself.
Thank you.
Okay, BBC, Alex Bell.
Hello, Minister. I was just wondering, because we're told now that horse riding is a form of exercise that's being looked at, will the department consider other forms of exercise now another one is being investigated?
Alex, yes, we are reviewing all forms of exercise. We're encouraging people to obviously follow the rules at the moment. During this coming week, there will be a further review, and depending on the clinic's advice, there may be some forms of exercise that aren't included now that will be included. So the message at the moment is it's under review.
Any indication what those might be? We've heard people say that fishing, for example, could be a form of exercise.
Well, recreational fishing is good for well-being, and obviously walking to the fishing areas, etc., is exercise. Some people have opined that golf, where you don't go into the clubhouse but you just play, might be an appropriate form of exercise. It's fair to say that we're looking at a lot at the moment, and we sort of brainstormed it during the week, and we have quite an extensive list, and that will be under review, I can assure you.
Thank you. Could I ask a quick question of Ramsey Bakery as well, please?
Can we do that?
Yeah, we can, yeah.
Yes, please go ahead.
Hello there. Hiya. Thanks for providing such a key service to the people of the Isle of Man, first of all. I was just wondering, you did touch on some of the challenges facing the business there. I was wondering, has Ramsey Bakery applied for any of the support packages which have been announced by the Treasury?
Well, we're reviewing that at the moment. We do have a number of shop staff who aren't able to work at the moment. We have 6 retail outlets. So something that we'll need to review. In the meantime, we're very much getting on with focusing on production of the bread and doing the job in hand to make sure that the rest of our business is there and providing what's needed to the island.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for that. Jeff the Mongoose, Amanda.
Thank you, Minister. There has been a huge renewed demand for local food and drink. For example, Noah's Bakehouse had one of its biggest ever bakes this morning. Does this present an opportunity and greater confidence to invest in the sector and grow the export side in the future?
Yes, it is an unprecedented opportunity for local businesses and producers to step up to the mark, and indeed they are doing so. I think we're looking at the internal economy at the moment. In the longer term, obviously there may be export opportunities, but I think the key message to people is people are standing up to the mark now and producing locally. When this is over, and surely it will be over at some stage, please continue to support local producers, because what happens sometimes is people lean on the local producers when they require it, and then they move away to cheaper branded products in the longer term. And I think this is really an opportunity to sample the local produce and see how good it is and stick with it in the future. Whether that will lead to export opportunities or not remains to be seen. Some producers already do export. We've been trying to encourage people to get into the export market for a long time, and certainly we'll have to see how the markets recover and what we can produce and what is in demand on the other side of the Irish Sea.
Thank you. And for a second question, although we have a health crisis now, a lot of people remain worried about their environment, especially because we're staying home and producing more waste than recycling. When will recycling banks be reinstated, and where are people living in smaller accommodations supposed to store their recyclable waste?
That is a difficult one, and the last press briefing we talked about this and amenity sites and recycling sites. We have reviewed that, and at the moment the clinician's advice is that we don't reopen amenity sites or the recycling areas. That encourages people to make other journeys that they perhaps might not do and come in contact with people. Certainly that is still under review, and this coming week we'll be looking further into it. But what has happened, and I understand with DOI, they've frozen the gate fees for the incinerator, energy from waste plant, so that local authorities can, without financial penalty, collect material that would normally go into recycling. So there should be no concerns for people living in apartments or properties with no gardens or garages. They just put this out in bags alongside their normal bins, and they will be collected.
Thank you.
Tim, Manx Radio.
Fast am I, Minister. Just looking at government plans, what contingencies there are if the recent warning by the UN over future global food shortages as a consequence of COVID-19 hit, we'd obviously need to ramp up production domestically and locally at quite a rate. And this farmer is saying that bringing forward or even increasing payments that are not linked to production is, in his words, completely illogical.
Well, we've announced that we've at the moment postponed the introduction of the agri-environment scheme to concentrate on the area payments that we've made, and we brought the payment forward, and that will be the case for the coming year at least, recognising that farmers need cash flow and confidence in the market going forward. As I said at the earlier press briefing, we have enough food on the island with our fishing fleet, our farmers, beef and lamb, and the Laxey Glen mill to produce base food products and have self-sufficiency. But of course, we don't all want to eat the same thing every day. So I am hoping that the logistics chains will remain in place, and I'm sure they will. But if we have to, we can produce enough food on the island for ourselves and probably export some as well. I hope that's reassuring.
Thank you. The other question I've got is that the farming sector traditionally, and tying it into yesterday's press briefing, traditionally has quite a high suicide rate of any industry across the British Isles. Farmers are obviously seeing the price of beef and lamb market prices going down. What measures are you doing as a department to aid mental health in the farming community?
Well, mental health is obviously not our remit. It's agriculture generally and production, as well as the environment. But I think by bringing forward payments and offering reassurance, and the fact that the creamery is still operating, the farmers on Ireland are getting a good price for their milk product, which is being used on Ireland, and of course livestock, etc., is being processed through our own meat plant, and thank goodness we have that facility on Ireland. So the whole chain of farming is intact in the Isle of Man sense. I implore farmers, if they do have any problems or doubts or worries that is leading to mental health issues, they speak to their GPs or go on one of the helplines and see what help is available. Farmers are a fairly resilient crowd, but you are correct. They do seem to have a very high suicide rate compared to some sectors of society. So if family members note someone's showing distressing signs, then they should try and help them or try and get some help for them. Okay.
I think they're pretty distressed though, aren't they, seeing people going across their land?
That's another subject matter, isn't it? I think in terms of people accessing land where they shouldn't be, that is a policing issue. It's a trespass issue, and if that is occurring with any frequency, then I would suggest that they call the police and ask them to act on that. Thank you. Tim, have you got anything else, or no? That's the end.
No, thank you.
That's the end of the notified questions. So, has anyone got anything else? We've got plenty of time. No, everyone's okay. Sorry, Amanda. Sorry. Yes, please go ahead.
Hi, yeah, just one question about single parents and shopping. Can you confirm if single parents with young children can take their kids to the shops? We've had reports of some shops allowing this and others not. Could there be some way of parents being given an identifier so workers know to let them shop with children?
I'll have to look into that. I hadn't heard of any incidents of that happening. Obviously, it is a concern because if you are a single parent and you've got no one to look after your child, then you need to be able to go and buy food. So I'll look into that. I can't give you a definitive answer on that, but I would have thought shops would be sympathetic to that fact. Obviously, they don't want children running around because they can break social distancing rules, as it were. But for children under control or in pushchairs and things like that, as long as they maintain the distance, I would have thought that was perfectly acceptable behaviour.
Thank you.
Okay. In that case, if everyone's finished, thank you very much. I would like to round off today's media briefing with some shout-outs to some of our community heroes. The first shout-out today goes to the Manx missile, Mark Cavendish, who has donated 60 boxes of food from Robinson's to be delivered at random to households around the island this weekend. His key messages are Happy Easter and asking residents to stay at home and stay safe. What a lovely idea from a local cyclist that is globally known. Thank you, Mark. The next shout out is to the Big Table Cafe in Peel. This long established cafe has been providing freshly cooked hot meals to anyone that needed it, with surplus donations being given to other charities. While the cafe is closed, the team of volunteers have adapted and are delivering meals to socially isolated people. A number of volunteers prepare, cook and deliver where needed. Well done to the Big Table Cafe, which is part of the Peel Cathedral organisation. Another charity making a difference during these difficult times is Living at Home. Working hard to support the work of the Department of Health and Social Care, the team and its volunteer network are working flat out, providing accessible information, advice, support and a friendly voice to maintain connections for those isolated alone. This shout out should also include all carers who are living at home with someone disabled, elderly, medically or physically vulnerable. We know this is a difficult time for all. Lastly, a big shout out to everyone that clapped or played an instrument for our healthcare professionals last night. It was touching to see so many people showing their appreciation across the island, including the Ben McCree sounding its horn, bagpipes being played and the Isle of Man Fire and Rescue Service Red Watch sounding sirens and clapping outside the Douglas fire station. So finally, thank you, Cheryl, and to our friends from the media. I would like to round off today's media briefing with a reminder that the COVID-19 testing figures for the Isle of Man will be updated at 4 p.m. today. Enjoy the holiday weekend, stay safe and stay at home. Thank you very much, everyone. Happy Easter.